about pets. We're all about fun. We have the nicest people. Our deals are number one. You'll love Dave's, Dave's Soda and Pet City. We make shopping for your pet. Fun, 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 fun.
We're filming. Hey everybody, welcome to Dave's Pet Show. So I just happened to lasso our Stella and Chewy salesman, Brandon. He just happened to be here. And Stella and Chewy's came out with a new product that I would love you to talk about. I'll be the holder, and you be the talker.
Okay, so we came out with a new product. It's raw coated kibble. And what it is it's a baked kibble, which is different from all the other kibbles that are in the store. Having a baked kibble it's cooked at about 8 minutes at about 200 degrees. So there's a lot less processing done in the product. Therefore, it's much more palatable. It's it's also got a raw element to it as well. So for instance, what they do is it's baked, and then they add a raw food to it as well. So it's raw coated, and it also has raw pieces in it on the product. So it makes it extremely palatable. Raw is becoming more and more popular. Some people don't want to dive just into a raw diet completely. Then this is the next best thing. It's raw and a dry kibble as well.
So explain, so this is confusing. So it just looks like a regular roll of kibble to me.
Yep.
But it's not. It's baked instead of extruded.
Right.
The advantages of baked are?
The advantages of baked are it's a lot less processing because it's cooked at a lower temperature.
Okay.
It's much more palatable when it's baked, so it's very palatable for the dog.
Yep.
And it is, I guess palatable, and also...
Is it more digestible than extruded?
And it's also more digestible. Good point. Yep. So it is more digestible on that as well.
So you feed less of a, if I'm getting this right, I'm not prompting you.
Nope.
So you would feed less of a baked kibble than you would an extruded diet? Is that how it works? If you have a 40-pound dog, you would feed how much less of a baked kibble?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you would feed a little bit less than.
So if you were feeding 2 cups a day, you'd feed a cup and a half or something like that?
Yeah, about right. Yep, that's about right. Yeah. So you feed less of it on that.
Yep.
The other nice thing, David, about the line is the amount of glucosamine and chondroitin that's in the product.
Yep.
There's about 1,350 milligrams per gram in there. So there's a lot less. I mean, there's a lot of glucosamine and chondroitin in there. So, and what that does is that helps with joint and muscle, and keeps everything going there. So it's got a lot of glucosamine and chondroitin in there as well. So not only is it a baked kibble, but it's great for.
So so this is interesting, folks. Up until a couple years ago, they would have plastered all over this, loaded with chondroitin and glucosamine.
Yep.
But then the Fed stepped in and said, we don't know how much is the right dosage, so you can't, it's not even on the bag.
It's not even on the bag.
Yeah.
So it's, but with this line here, you're getting a whole lot of it in there, in the product, in the dog system, and it really does help with, with joint issues and things of that nature.
So, if I'm Mrs. Normal Consumer, right, and I'm a pretty good-looking Mrs. Normal Consumer, and I was feeding my dog regular kibble, a high-quality kibble, right, and I wanted to switch to this. So the advantages would be I would feed even less than I was of the other.
Yeah,
my real question is, why would I switch to this?
Why would you switch it?
I'm really growing them, folks.
A couple reasons why you'd want to switch it. I think the benefit of the fact that you're going to feed a little bit less than you would some of your other lines. The other thing is palatability. It's extremely palatable. Dogs seem to love it.
Should you put water in it or anything?
And you don't have to put, if you want to put water in it, you can, but you don't have to put water in it.
Right. It smells like meat.
And it's meat. It's got about 36% protein in there, so it's got a lot of protein in there. Meat is your number one ingredient.
Yeah, it's also cage-free meat is number one ingredient. Chicken, or I have the chicken flavor. Right?
Yep, organic fruits and vegetables in there as well. And the carbs are only like 28%, so it's really, really high density when it comes to meat.
So I was just going to mention that. So I'm holding this bag, and this is a heavy bag. I mean, this is really dense. This is a small bag. It's 3.5 pounds.
Right.
But it's dense.
Feeling
stuff. So let me explain. To me, what makes one food better than another is how digestible the food is.
Yep. Correct.
So if you're feeding a food that's $20 a bag, but the dog is only digesting 50% of it, and the rest is going right out, then you're wasting $20 a bag, right? So this stuff, because it's so digestible and there's so much meat, might be what percentage? 90% digestible, 80-something percent?
Yeah, probably close to 90%.
Close to 90% digestible. So even when you come into the store and you see a food like this that's more expensive, it's not because the dog eats so much less and it's getting the nutrients that it really needs.
Exactly.
So now Stella and Chewy's is famous for their raw diets. That's how they started.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
And so we just happen to be standing next to it. Tell me about now we've got the freeze-dried stuff.
Right. So freeze-dried is it's basically a raw diet. It just doesn't have the water in it with freeze-dried. So this would work out well if you're looking for a diet that is a raw diet. Again,
but you don't want to deal with a raw diet.
Yeah. Now, if you don't want to deal with a raw diet, what you can do is use our meal mixers, which are a great complement as a topper to on your kibble. And what that does is it adds to the palatability. You got extra vitamins and minerals in your dog's diet, and it's great, especially if your dog is on let's say another kibble line or whatever, and they're having a tough time. They're not eating it too much. This you can just add on top of it.
You wet it first.
And you wet it first.
How long do you have to leave it?
Oh, you just leave it out for a little bit. You don't have to wet it, but if
you can crumble it up too, right?
You can crumble it up and just put it right on top of the food.
So here's one of the other good things about this. There's basically no carbs in here except for whatever carbs are in the veggies.
Correct. Yeah.
Huge deal. So let's say you want your dog to lose weight, you want protein, you don't want carbs. So talk to me about some people say, with the raw food, the salmonella.
Yeah, we use something called HPP, which is high pressure processing.
Yep.
And what that does is it kills any of the bacteria that's in there. So it kills the E. coli, kills the salmonella, and gets rid of it right away. So you don't have to worry about that kind of thing with a freeze-dried or our frozen lines as well. The HPP
especially
line.
with the freeze-dried.
Especially with the freeze-dried, because again, they kill it right off the bat. So therefore, it's the HPP process. Definitely, if you feel any kind of safety issues, that's a standard issue that we use.
Yeah.
And helps with that, so you don't have to worry about it.
Right. And so if anybody wants to try this, you guys have generously given us.
Yep. So right now we
have a bunch of great coupons.
We have $5 off, and I'm going to get some more coupons on the bag, so you get $5 off on this smaller bag.
Yep.
We do have
a small bag is $350.
Yeah, $350 minus.
Yeah, we don't make a lot of sales a day, but we make so much on every sale that. Right.
No, it's good price point, and it is available in bigger bags as well. Right now we've got them in the smaller bags in the store.
Yep. And so we just had a customer in before we started talking who has the small dog, very, very finicky dog. Mm-hmm. This is the perfect stuff for it.
Right.
especially because they infused it with the raw.
Yes.
I mean, that's the kicker, right?
Infusion of the raw really kind of, that's definitely the kicker in this line.
Right.
Yep. It's a good line, good solid line altogether.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate it.
folks. We'll be back. Matt's here, and I don't know what kind of creepy crawlers he's going to talk about today. All right. Well, here we are with Mean and Nasty Matthew. I said to Matt, "What do you want to talk about?" He goes, "We have the nastiest fish in the history of the world."
We do.
Here. So
We do.
why don't you tell us about them, you morbid creature?
Okay, we have always had all these pretty beautiful, gentle, peaceful, lovely, relaxing fish. Take a walk on the wild side. These are the close piranhas, are illegal in Massachusetts. We
Yep.
cannot sell them, and a lot of them are about myth. They're kind of a lot of myth to them. They're kind of mellow in a tank. I mean, they'll eat other stuff, but nothing like these guys. These are legal to sell. These are called Exodon bucktooths, or a bucktooth tetra.
Yep.
And these things are from the Amazon River, just like the piranhas. They're actually in the same family. And they are easily one of the most aggressive, fast-moving, you can see that going right here, fast-moving feeders. He just scarfed that whole thing right down. Just that whole chunk of meat. Feeders that you can get.
And what are you feeding them?
I am feeding them jumbo,
Chopped up humans?
pretty much, jumbo chopped up fish meat,
Chunks.
little
raw.
chunks. These
Little
are
chunks
just
of human.
the same food that we feed to our bigger Oscars and stuff like that.
Ex-employees.
Ex-employees in there. Yep, that's where they go. See the ones that disappeared.
Yeah.
But if you can look at these guys, they won't really hurt you if you bite you. They might nibble. You'll feel a little ping on your fingers, but not because they are smaller. But these guys, they're actually exciting to watch if you look at them. They are an Amazon River fish.
So wait a minute. They're really exciting now. I asked Matt, I said, can you put these in with, which I thought were the toughest fish in the world, the Jack Dempsey.
Right.
And you said they'll rip them apart.
Rip them apart. They will rip the scales off this guy. These guys, I highly, highly recommend that you keep them in a tank by themselves. This is a species-only tank. You can observe them. A 20-gallon starter kit works perfect for them. They're very, very hardy.
They're gorgeous.
They're gorgeous fish. They're simple to keep. Look at this guy. He's got the whole chunk in his mouth. They're simple to keep. 20-gallon tank with a heater and a filter. You can put
It's
some
a
plants
tetra.
in there.
I
It's
mean,
a
they
tetra.
look just like a
it
little
looks just
tetra.
like a tetra, and they get up to about 6 inches. But
At 6 inches, it's an issue.
it's a good size. 6 inches, yeah, that's going to be a force to reckon with. But these are babies right here. These are small ones. Feeding them, feed them any chunky food.
So, Matt said you got to buy them in a school, but
Yes.
these kind of fish, it would be like a reform school.
Right, this would be a reform school. To get the effect
I
you
just
want.
thought of that.
Yep. Don't keep them in a pair.
so clever.
That was good. That was good. It is a reform school. Here's the trick, though. Don't ever buy them in pairs. Either buy them singly or buy them in a group. If you keep two of them together, one's
They'll
going to
fight.
kill. They're going to fight. One's going to kill the other one.
I see that you don't have any stuff in here. They don't get territorial.
They don't
right?
get territory. They're a schooling fish. They don't care. They're just hunters. These are basically the hyenas or jackals or lions, or like
Of
a
the
pride lion
Amazon.
of the Amazon. A lot of times these will actually follow behind the piranhas after they've scored a kill, and they'll actually pick up quickly all the little stuff that the other guys are stirring up. As you can see, these guys
And
are
a piranha won't mess with these guys?
These are pretty quick. Usually piranhas, a lot of them
'cause
miss.
they're slow.
Yeah, these guys are slow.
Oh,
These
got it,
guys are a
got it,
lot
got it,
quicker.
got it.
But these guys
it.
behave. If you're looking for a fish that has
You want to
that
have some fun with?
has some fun with, you want to hand feed them.
So in the old days, people used to buy Oscars and throw the
Mm-hmm.
feeders in.
This one, just you can throw any chunk of food, any little bit of meat, little bits of chicken you can throw in there. They'll eat the flake food. It's a simple beginner of easy
Another
fish.
question. I'm guessing, you need to feed them, if you're feeding them a flake food, you need to feed a high
High meat content. Yes. So a cichlid flake would work great.
Yep.
Something that has a lot of meat. This is a great food. I'm just breaking it up. The jumbo carns, the Hikari jumbo carnivore sticks.
Yep.
All I'm doing is just breaking them up, and the fish are just, as you can see, they're just hitting it like you're fishing.
You
Imagine
have to
fishing.
feed these guys, serious question, more often than others because they're so active?
Well, you can feed them throughout the day, a couple times a day. You can feed them just like normal fish.
Because what you just put in here, there's only like 4 or 5 fish got any food.
And you can feed them throughout the day. What you don't want to do with any fish, you can feed as much as you want as long as they eat it.
Yep.
Of course, there is a minimum feeding. If they start getting skinny, of course, you got to give them food. So you would want to feed them a little more frequently, but just don't overfeed them. With anything, they'll fill up and they'll slow down.
I'm more concerned with, just like with the lions, you've got the more aggressive ones get the food, and then you've got a dozen of them here that don't get any food.
Yep, so you just like what I'm doing here, just small amounts, keep
in.
pumping them in until the food is gone, and then everyone's got them. You can see some of them are getting...
Do fish stop eating when they're full?
Yes, they actually do. They actually will do that. That's the biggest problem that people have in their aquarium.
Yeah, of course.
Is they put in so much food,
Yep.
the fish stop eating, that settles. Fish are animals that graze for food all day. So small amount of feeding throughout the day, a little bit. If they're up there looking for more food, you can always feed them more.
So you should buy either 1 or 4.
Either one, either buy them a single or buy them in a group. The bigger the group, the better, because they're gonna channel the aggression off on each other.
Since you can't have anybody else, can you have a pleco?
It would have to be a real big one, but anything like that, I would just not recommend with these guys because they are predatory. They do actually bite chunks off of bigger fish. So I would keep them by themselves with a good
when you
circulation.
say looks are deceiving, if you know anything about fish, these just
they look like a tetra. They look like a pretty little tetra.
Pretty little tetra.
Pretty little tetra, but they are fascinating to watch if you have a lot of current and a lot of them zipping around. It's a fun fish that, honestly, kids that if they want to do something different, because it is beginner level, easy fish to keep. It's a tetra.
What do you do when they're 6 inches?
Well, you have them spaced, and depending on the size of the tank.
You gotta have a big tank.
Put them in a nice 55 to a 75 gallon tank.
Yeah.
A half
How
dozen
long will it take for them to get 6 inches?
About 6 to 8 months. So they get to a decent size. They'll get up.
I should say.
Yeah.
But then what do you feed them?
Same thing you're feeding them now.
That's it?
Yep.
Just
same thing. Just like I said,
You
bigger
don't
chunks.
have to feed them live. You don't have to feed them.
Nope. Live food. The only problem with live food, like live fish, is they're going to tear. That could spread parasites through their tank because these are more apt to tear the fish apart and leave debris rather than swallowing the fish whole like a catfish would, or like an Oscar would. So, like I said, chunks of food, bloodworms, brine shrimp, big solid flakes.
Yep.
Work great. Even little bits of chicken, small little chicken bits or beef bits. They'll find ground beef. They will take pretty much anything you throw in there. Great little, like I said, if it's something different for kids.
I'm just thinking, all kidding aside, you could take some raw dog food.
You could take a little, some tripe or some, even small kibble. Even little bits of kibble dog food, like small breed kibble. They would take it. They most likely would take this. But it's an exciting, fascinating, cool little fish. Something a little different that we don't usually promote. But like I said, some people want to have a fun, exciting, fast.
So when they get to be about 5 or 6 inches, you call your mother-in-law over.
Say, here, come pet my pet.
Will you come help me feed my fish?
And here's the other thing. These guys are they
won't. Fishy.
Yeah, exactly. They won't tear a finger off or anything like that. They can bite, but they're not going to hurt you. Yeah, that's the only thing. No. So they're safe. They are safe. That's why they're legal.
Fangs coming down.
No fangs or anything like that. But like I said, they have that same exact frenzy behavior. That and
there's no special water conditions. No,
just
they're very
7.0 pH, 75 degrees, clean water, filter with circulation. Plain old, set up an aquarium and run it. So,
all right.
Neat
one.
Don't
go away, folks. We just fired somebody, so we're gonna feed that
ready for the next second course.
Fish. Yeah, and then as soon as that person is consumed, we'll be back for the next segment. All right, so listen, so that we don't get sued for discriminatory thing by the Cat Association of America, it's time we did some cat stuff.
We will do some cool cat stuff.
Right, so here I am with Julie. So old timers, we didn't discuss this before. How many years ago did you used to work here?
29.
29 years ago.
Correct.
We try and get rid of them, and they just keep coming back. 29 years ago, Julie.
29, yeah.
Oh, my word.
Yep.
That's a long time. So, anyway, so here we are with Julie.
Us old-timers.
Yeah, us old-timers. And we want to talk about some neat cat stuff that we have. Because, that one of the worst things you can have in the world is a very bored cat that gets
Correct.
very destructive in the house and makes
It'll
your
rip
life.
your wallpaper off the walls and
Yeah.
scratch your furniture. And
Yeah. Yep. So
Wreak havoc.
let's go over some fun stuff that we have for cats.
Yeah.
What have we here, Miss Julie?
This is made by Hagen.
Yep.
It's a little circular toy. If the picture was off, it's
Yep.
got the corrugated cardboard in the middle, which they
Yep.
like to scratch. You sprinkle a little catnip on it, and the ball goes around. And then there's a little spring with another little toy on top of that. And then you can buy the refills for it as well. So it's not one of those throwaway ones. It's
Yep.
one that you can keep using and using and
Yep.
using.
And it's only $249.
No, it is.
No, it isn't. It's 26 bucks.
Right.
So, but this is an interactive toy, which
Right.
is great for, let's say you're not home a lot.
Right.
Although I think a lot of cats just sort of sleep when they're right.
It depends on the cat.
They go out,
really.
they kill their food, they come back and they
Right.
sleep.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so this thing comes up. This is a great, and you can buy all the refills, which is
Correct.
a huge deal.
Yep.
So we're going to stress cat posts and stuff for the cats to play with and scratch.
Well, what happens is
Right.
when their nails are shedding, you'll find little pieces of your cat nails around the house. When their nails are shedding, they itch. That's why they like to scratch, especially on the sisal, because
had
it
no
helps
idea.
helps with the itching
Really?
process, and it helps get rid of the
And
excess.
so cardboard must be really good for that, right?
Right. The cardboard. You see the sisal rope on this.
Yeah. And the sisal obviously
A lot
lasts
of
a lot
people
longer.
like the sisal because it will last longer, and then if it gets wrecked, you can buy a piece of sisal and replace it at Rocky's or something like that, if you want to do that.
No, you go to Sisals R Us,
Sisals are
and they have all kinds.
They have
of
all
colored
kinds of sisal.
Sisal.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
So we have scratching posts, which I cannot tell you how important they are, of all different shapes and sizes. And
I mean, if you have a condo and you don't have a lot of space,
Yep.
something like this or this, has the little
Oh, these are
bells
cute.
and the
Yeah.
They make all different
17
shapes
bucks.
and sizes.
And
Yeah,
this is wood, folks.
correct. Nice and heavy too.
Yes, it is heavy.
So it's hard
amazing.
for them to knock over.
Right. Now, what's the most popular one we sell in all 7 stores, you ask? We sell dozens of these a week.
We do for $5.99. It's a double cardboard scratcher,
Yep.
and it flies off the shelf.
And so you can, is this the one you just hang it from your door handle, right? Or
This
just the
one is
you
not a
can
door
lean it?
handle one. You
We have
can
both.
lean it. You can lay
Yeah.
it flat.
Yep.
You
Yep.
can do
So it's
whatever
basically just cardboard. They even give you
the catnip to sprinkle.
some catnip, right?
Right.
And we have catnip spray. We have this. And you know what, folks? If you have a cat, it's almost like getting a dog and just leaving the dog home alone. Even though you think your cat is great all day, it does need. It does.
You'd probably find them
needs
hanging
some-
from your curtains if
Yeah,
you did a
it
video.
Needs, it needs some stimulation. So
Yeah.
speaking of stimulation, we have all these toys that are, I don't know what the
They're on a wand,
interactive, right?
right.
That's the word. Right.
So if you don't want to get up and run around and chase your cat, you could basically sit in your lounge chair at home and dangle the cat.
Yep. Have some,
Toy and
have
they
some
play.
catnip and
Yep.
just,
Yep.
this is a family show, right?
Right.
And just play with this and film it and then
Right.
put it on
Right.
YouTube.
The other thing that's really popular too, I forgot about, was the pet laser. So that's the little red dot that
Oh, the
dogs
cats-
will
yeah, yeah,
chase,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the cats will chase.
Cats will chase this.
Right.
Right? And these things
Yeah.
this lasts forever.
Quite a while. Yeah.
And you can put those little batteries in
Correct.
it.
Yeah, it comes
Plus,
with them.
if you have kids, you can just really aggravate your kids. Like when they're sleeping at night, you just go in their room and, right? And just, I mean,
I'd love to have you as a father.
you just, well, you need to get revenge on,
Yeah,
on
well,
kids,
yes, I suppose you do.
right? So yeah, so these are, or your spouse,
Correct.
right?
That's
honey,
better,
honey, I have
yes.
to go to the bathroom. Then
Right.
you get up, and you just like,
Yeah.
Do this-
And then
do
the
this.
SWAT team comes in and
now, this is my favorite stuff. These new toys we got in. So there is all kinds of.
they're filled with catnip. This one is good because you can't lose it underneath your refrigerator.
Yep.
And they're starting to make the bigger mice now too. This freaks some people out.
This one,
Yeah, because it looks like a
rat.
real one, and this guy too. So they can't go into the fridge. Those are the good kind because you don't have to chase them around.
Actually, yes. These are
Yeah.
really cool, and they're
Right.
really reasonably
Yeah, they're made very nicely
$5,
as well.
and the cat's
Yep.
not going to. Here's the only thing. Oh, look at that puppy, shepherd puppy. The problem is if you have a dog and the dog gets hold of these, it's like 30 seconds and
Right, they're gone.
they're gone.
Yeah.
Right. Although the cat will probably go after the dog.
To get his toy, yes.
Yeah, to get his toy back.
And then if you really want to watch something funny, when they get inside these crackle sacks, I've had cats in the past, and they love the crackle sacks because it makes that noise. They'll go in the sack and just roll around in it and do all sorts of funny stuff, peek their head out.
Was that a cat or was that John?
That was John. Don't tell my sister.
Not this John. Her husband John. Right. So these are cool.
Yeah.
$14.
Right.
Right. I
Yep.
mean, Christmas is coming up. These are great.
Yep.
Great presents. This is actually very cute.
It is. Yeah. And they have a circular one as well. That's the hide and seek one.
Hide and seek.
Yeah.
I got to put this back so I don't get yelled at by
If
Julie.
if you have kids and you want to get a really cool looking cat scratcher made out of the cardboard, if you have boys, we have the little race car version.
You mean if you have boy cats?
Boy cats or boys,
Yes.
because they're
Yes.
going to want to pick out a boy
Yes.
looking one.
Yes.
That one has a bird chirping in it.
Oh, how cool.
And then if you have a little
I
girl,
thought it was something I ate.
if you have a little girl and she's a princess cat, she's got her little throne.
Oh, these are very cute.
Yeah.
Can you get these without their reflection?
Yeah.
And so you know what's great about these guys? They're all under $20. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just
And they got the cardboard all the way around, so if
Right.
they flip them over,
right. And this will last depending on unless you have a mountain
on your
lion
cat,
or something.
yeah,
I mean, these will
right,
last for
lasts
months and months
quite a
and
while.
months.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we brought.
That's the refill for the.
So this is the refill for
For-
the first one that
right,
we
the
talked
first
about.
one.
And we also have. Hello. we also have the hollow round one where the cat chases the ball around like the empty tire.
Yeah, Dusk still makes that.
Yes,
We're out of that
yes,
right
yes,
now.
yes,
But
yes.
yeah, it's a plastic circle and it just goes
Yep.
around. There's no cardboard or anything.
There's no
like that.
cardboard,
Right.
but that's. Time's up. He's telling you. Right. A little birdie is trying to tell me something. So thank you very much for
welcome.
coming back after 29 years. Don't go away, folks. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Dave Soda, Pet Food City, yeah.
Hey folks, if your dog has a food allergy and you are looking for a limited ingredient, single protein food, California Natural is the best that you can do. As far as I know, it has the fewest ingredients. So if you're looking for a reasonably priced, limited ingredient diet, try California Natural at Dave's.
Yaha!